Thank you, India Today, for giving this opportunity to address such esteemed audience, especially after the lunchtime. I hope I'm able to hold the attention of everyone. So I'll just bring in the chef's perspective here, how chefs look at GI tagging and what GI tagging has done to the cuisine, the culture, the country, and the chefs. So GI tagging plays a significant role in preserving Virasat. When it comes to food, India has close to 635 GI tag products. Out of these 635, almost 202 products are agri, and rest, some of it is also food preparation, which is close to 60 odd products which are there. One of the biggest threats to food heritage today is counterfeit or unauthorized imitation. So GI tagging helps us in preserving this by providing legal protection against the use of regional names and qualities by producers outside the protected area. I just heard in the previous session how champagne has evolved and how the countries have ensured that the product that is made in their country only carries that name. So I'm glad India started in this field. Going forward, this also ensures that the product authenticity is preserved. India has so many ingredients which are spread the world over today. I remember in 2004 or 5, Starbucks had launched turmeric latte, and the whole, I think, USA and the West was raving about it. But little did they know that our generations have grown on haldi doodh. You know, whenever we've been unwell, our grandmothers have given us that milk. So that is the importance of GI tag for us to also appreciate what our country has. So GI not only protects the produce, but also helps by safeguarding traditional practices, promoting cultural identity, and maintaining regional food diversity, thus helping chefs to ensure that our culinary heritage is not lost. So there's a lot of pride in what chefs do today. There's a lot of reviving the traditional recipes, a lot of exploration of ancient ingredients and artisan practices which chefs are doing today. Everybody's doing it, and especially the youngsters who are no longer overawed by what West had to offer. So how it helps the Indian food, the geographical link, the product must come from a specific geographical area and its unique characteristics must be linked to that location's environment, climate, soil, or traditional practices. Some of the examples are chattu mushroom, Malihabadi aam, Guntur chili. I earlier saw Dr. Rajnikant here. He's pioneer in making sure that maximum number of products get GI tagged, so salute to him. Traditional knowledge, the product often reflects the traditional techniques or cultural practices that have been passed down through generations. Simlipal chutney, which is the red ant chutney, which suddenly, came to limelight almost 3-4 years ago when the restaurant Noma put it on the plate in one of the European countries. So that made us realize what is there in our backyard as well. So Simlipal chutney is nothing but a red ant chutney, very high in nutritive value. And that's been there forever, if you ask me. But someone from the West had to put it on the plate for us to appreciate it. The Tirupati Laddu, the Sita Bhog, which is again a mithai from Bengal, Magadi Pan from Bihar, the Gaya Kachori, all these are GI tagged food products which are there now. Also, it of course gives us legal protection. GI tag provides legal protection to prevent unauthorized use of the name or product outside the designated region, ensuring that only producers from the region can use the GI tag name. So if somebody else was to offer a Gaya Kachori, he can't do it. If we had registered Simlipal chutney earlier, maybe Noma wouldn't have used it. So in this very Bharat Mandapam, I'm proud to tell you that we had catered to heads of state, almost 40 heads of state during G20 way back in 2023. And me and my team, some of them are sitting here, were given the challenge to create a global menu using the local ingredients. And most of them were GI tagged. So some of the examples that we had used in the menu were chattu mushroom, which is from Odisha. It's a mushroom which is harvested early morning, and by the end of the day, it has to be used fresh. It cannot be carried forward the next day. The day it is harvested, it has to be used. It has very unique earthy aroma. I'm not saying it's an answer to the truffle. Truffle has its uniqueness. Gucci has its uniqueness. So is chattu mushroom. The sorghum, which is jowar, Lakadong turmeric, and there's also another turmeric which is shot in the limelight, and you all have had sampled that for the lunch today, which Bharat Mandap had put up. Allahabad Surk Amrud, which is again, right now Kumbh Mela is going on there, and it comes from that part of our country. Guntur Sanam chili, Ambe Mohar rice. So all these products we had used for 40 heads of state, and they were very, very appreciative. We had created a global menu using Indian ingredients. So that's where chefs can take this message forward and create more awareness, thus creating markets for the farmer and hence getting economically independent as well. So how it helps cuisine India? India can leverage geographical indications to its advantage in the world by protecting its unique ingredients and foods, promoting Indian cuisine globally. Now, there are a lot of restaurants which have come up in New York and mostly New York and London, which I suddenly see a lot of movement happening there on the social media, without naming anybody, but a lot of Indian chefs are taking pride and bringing the Indian food the true way. No longer it is butter chicken tikka masala or just the naan. They're getting into regional food and as a consequence getting into GI tagged ingredients as well. Authenticity and quality, GIs ensure that products meet specific standards, which enhances the reputation of Indian cuisine worldwide. That is what I just mentioned. Brand recognition, registered GIs can become recognizable brands, increasing demand and value for Indian products. Kashmir Kesar, Lakadang Haldi, Gucci, Malihabadi Aam, Ambe Mohar rice. Also, since I work for ITC, we also have a lot of brands which are rooted in the heritage and local food that we bring forward, whether it is Bukhara, Dampukht, Dakshin, or Royal Vega. These are very interesting and deep-rooted in Indian food, and we use only local ingredients. And that is our contribution to ensuring that this continuity goes on. The cultural preservation, GI helps us preserve traditional recipes, ingredients, and production methods, promoting India's cultural heritage. Other than the 202 agri items which are GI tagged, there are food items like Mysore Pak, Tirupati Laddu, Rasagulla, which got into controversy between Odisha and Bengal. However, that is also one of the GI tagged food preparation. How it helps Cuisine India again, protects traditional knowledge and practices. We must safeguard the artisan way of making food, whether it is the ingredients, the methodology, or the metallurgy, the metals that play very intrinsic role in the GI tag, in the authenticity of a GI tagged food, the way metal helps to add value or the taste to the food. You would have noticed how if you cook food in a pressure cooker versus you cook food in a traditional lagan or a deg, it tastes entirely different. That's what we mean when we say metallurgy plays a very important role. It preserves regional food identity. The more we do GI tagging, earlier session I heard that there is a lot of overlays. What is with Odisha? What is with West Bengal? What is with Punjab? What is with Haryana? This will continue to happen, but we have to, of course, do a lot of research, a lot of authenticity, and a lot of FSSAI has to play a very major role in this to make sure that the GI tagged ingredients get their rightful state. Support sustainable agriculture practices. So GI tag is nothing but what is being grown for centuries in our country. And in those times, there was not much of preservative or not much of chemicals or to be used in the crops. So that is what will help. If we get into GI tag, there'll be more pure food which will be coming on the table, which will be perhaps more towards organic and less of chemicals. Economic empowerment of local communities, we have just touched upon that. As chefs, if we start using and taking this message to the larger audience, there'll be more markets for the farmers as well. Promotes cultural tourism. I do know quite a few friends who create these food tours to a country, whether it is Kerala or Kashmir. So people do come on culinary tourism as well. So if we package it well, perhaps that's the way forward as to create more awareness about the foods that we have. It's safeguard against plagiarism also. The more we do GI tagging, people will not be able to hijack our products. How GI tag helps the communities, protects traditional knowledge and practices, preserves regional food identity, economic empowerment to local communities, promotes cultural tourism by biodynamic farms, ecotourism, safeguard against plagiarism, sustainability. GI tags encourage producers to follow environmentally sustainable farming practices which benefit local ecosystems. So if a farmer is growing, a lot of farmers come to our hotels. They do bring, and we do visit the farmers market, and we do find something that grows in a particular season. So if chefs are aware of it, they will try to incorporate those seasonal items in the menu, hence creating more awareness. Also, at the same time, it will have health benefit as well. If I was to eat broccoli in peak of May, it's not going to do anything to, it will not have nutritional value. It definitely, of course, will look very fancy on the plate, but it will not have nutritional value. Or for that matter, if I was to use turnip in the month of May or June, again the same story happens. So these are the things, these are the practices we must revive. We must make sure that these traditional practices come on the table, what our grandmothers used to do. We must revive that. The organic methods, often GI products are grown without modern chemical interventions, maintaining both the authenticity of the food and health of the land. The more fertilizers you put in the land, the more leaching happens, and in the end, whatever grows on that soil does not have that nutritional value. So that's what we mean. Let's move towards GI tagging, so the farmer starts growing the way it's supposed to be grown. Naturally, that's what GI tag would entail. As a result, he will be less and less dependent on the fertilizer. He will grow what is seasonal. And then as a result of all that, as at the chef's end, at my end of spectrum, I will learn to respect that, and I will not be putting something which is not in season. How GI tagging helps the chefs? Unusual ingredients opens vistas for innovation and be the trendsetter. A lot of new ingredients are coming into foray. There are a lot of new young chefs who are doing this. Nar is one restaurant that comes to my mind, which is in Kasoli. Some great work is done by the chef there. There is another new restaurant which has come in Goa. Again, he's using the local Goan ingredients and putting it on the table. He's reviving the ancient recipes, but presenting it perhaps in a modern way, which is absolutely fine because it has to strike a chord with the younger generation. So they may appreciate what is eaten earlier as well. They're very curious to know what ingredients are there, but yet they perhaps want another twist to it. So that is what chefs are doing today. Preserve traditional recipes, ingredients, and production methods, promoting India's cultural heritage. Dampuk is one example that we do. We ensure that all the ingredients that we are sourcing are from the authentic source. In fact, we have very stringent guidelines. That's one of our brand restaurants at ITC hotels. Our chefs come from that region. The chefs who have grown up eating that kind of food, have learned from their forefathers, have learned from their grandmothers. They are the chefs who make that food. Also at the same time, we make sure that the vessels, the source of heat is kept authentic. So that is what we as chefs can do to make sure that our cuisine is pure as far as possible. Partner with international chefs who believe in same culinary philosophy to showcase Indian GI protected products. So this is something that we had done in the month of September 24, where one of the Michelin chef and ITC chefs got together. So Pam brought in what was very intrinsic, what was GI to Thailand. And from India's side, we brought to the table the Northeast food because we felt that that would strike well with the Thai food. And we brought in the ingredients that were from that region, and we created a very unique twist to the food. We made a beautiful soup called Kodi soup. So this is a backstory here. I earlier heard somebody talk about the stories. So the Kodi soup came around in Northeast states, the 7 states that are there. So the ladies during the daytime when it's winter, they sit outside and they make Kodi. Kodi is nothing but a pasta which is made with the local grain and water mixed together. It's called Kodi, which is a dice. So they make this little pasta kind of a thing and they sun dry it. And the whole day, this is what happens. And in the night, they make a wholesome soup. To the curry, they would add chicken or whatever. So we looked at that and we said, okay, how can we reinvent it? So we remade the soup. The first picture that you saw in the presentation was the curry soup that we served along with Pam. Then, of course, we had used the local duck. So there are multiple things that we do. So that's what I'm trying to say. As a chef, it's very important for us to look at the ingredients which are, some of which are forgotten, some of which perhaps the millennial has not seen. It's our responsibility to bring it on the table, maybe reinvent it for them to appreciate it more. Because I have young kids and I know if I make absolutely something very traditional, it may not go down very well with them. But if you make something with a twist, they love it. So that's where you have to connect with the younger generation. And that's the only way forward. Because they are the ones who are going to carry all these initiatives forward. So digital platforms utilize social media and e-commerce platforms to promote and sell GI protected products globally. So as a chef, I see a lot of chefs, including myself, doing this. We do create a lot of content for the social media where we bring forward these ingredients which are unheard of, which have been used by our grandmothers and our mothers, but somewhere we've lost the touch with those ingredients. So it's important, like I said, to reinvent and put it there. Put it there in the social media. The reach will be very, very, very large. So the last slide is the picture of what we had done during the, and that's a promotion that I was talking to you about. That's Pam and me. We had done this pop-up, and this was a 4-city pop-up. We traveled across the country and created awareness about the GI food tax. Thank you.